Welcome back, everybody, to Fist Truck TV.
The Ocky way.
The Ocky way, for sure, for sure.
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 Don't forget the Bev. Never.
Yeah.
Never.
You want to block some of those? Or?
No, I don't. Apparently, I don't. Wow.
Do you want to block any of those? Like...
No, I apparently don't.
Did you forget what button it is?
Oh, I got fucked. I'm not gonna lie, I just kind of stood there when I hit any buttons.
Oh no, not him.
Anyone
not,
but
not
him.
Eric. No.
Irk. But yeah, so this is gonna be a part 2 to the last video that we did, last Sekiro video.
Right.
So if you don't have context for this conversation, first, who watches part 3? Who just jumped straight to part 3? Like the second.
Who watches the final installment of the trilogy?
Who just starts with a third video? I'm just saying. So that's on you. But also, go watch the second one. Probably, but if you also started that, you should probably watch the first one as well. So there's just we need the watch time. Yeah, so get into General Ock. I remember seeing those sandwiches and I'm like, yo, this is fucking crazy. And then you start seeing all the videos of people going like, oh, I came from like Louisiana to try out the sandwich in New York from like, and I don't want to.
You're ruining it. You're ruining it.
I don't want. Yeah, well, like I don't want to be a dick. I don't want to be a dick. But the stuff that he is throwing in that sandwich, minus the spinach,
we don't eat that. We don't eat that.
Minus the spinach. No, but not only that, like yo, all the stuff he's throwing in the fucking sandwich is like, oh, yo, man, literally throwing in. That is a Restaurant Depot sandwich. Like, that is literally taking everything that you could possibly buy from Restaurant Depot and just throwing it in a sandwich. Like, the beef patty, the mozzarella sticks, all that shit. That is like if you did for the most part, this is the equivalent of you going to the frozen food aisle in your supermarket and going, this is a sandwich. Like, that is what is in there. That is what, and like, that's fine. That's cool. But that's fine. Cause, like, listen, if there are people that just eat substandard trash all the time, it's the two people who are currently talking in this video right now. It's you know, my standards for the food I throw in my mouth are shockingly low. So but if I eat that sandwich, I'm not like it's not like, yo, it's that good. Like, no, this tastes like a frozen beef patty with frozen mozzarella sticks and a fucking like you know like a chopped up burger patty
with residual oil drenched, hasn't been drained in like 5
in eons, like with frozen burger patty all thrown together, and that's what I'm here for, and that's great. But no way in hell is this
the equivalent of fucking saving your school lunch for a week and then making
just throwing it all together. Like, that's what it is. And you know what? That's cool. That's fine. But when you see like all these people going like, oh my god, this is amazing, and it's like, you don't even know. You don't even know.
Hola. The whatchamacallit. Shit, what was I gonna say?
I don't know.
It's just a lot of, because you have to prepare the food. Oh, the craziest I've ever gotten with a fucking beef patty is having a slice of cheese put on it while
cheese and cocoa bread. That's it.
That's it. That's the craziest.
The quintessential pizzeria, you know.
Yeah, quintessential pizzeria beef.
Pizzeria. Yeah. That's it. No, I need to go make the axe.
Whatever you see on those videos is a fantasy. It's a farce. It's made up. Nobody
like,
anybody that does, you don't see them again because they're on the toilet the rest of their life trying to push out a solid brick of shit. All right.
Yeah, if they're lucky. If they're lucky. With that amount of cheese going through your system, it's going to be a couple days before that comes out. Like, that's
Oh man, I ate a mozzarella sandwich. I don't know why my stomach hurts.
And then there's no way in hell that I could see a chopped cheese that it's like, oh, chopped cheese with mozzarella stick with cheese. Sorry, it's the beef, cheese, mozzarella sticks, and a beef patty all together. And I guarantee you, a regular ass chopped cheese would be better.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Would be better. Like that would
and probably cheaper, hopefully.
It would. Well, no. And then again, you know, today with the way things are.
Yeah, yo, fucking chopped cheeses are what used to be $6 is now
gourmet foods. I'll tell you time and time again. I remember when I was going to college that there was a deli across the street from the college that you could get a chopped cheese with a soda for like $4.50 or $5.50, some shit like that. And boy, have time, chops sure have changed, bro. I'll tell you what, boy.
Back in my day, I used to fucking ski uphill trying to get to school. You get chopped cheese for 99 cents.
Babadoo. What's this? Mid-air combat art. No, I will never use that. Oh, this, yes. Okay.
Is that fucking Jesus? What is that?
Yeah, it is. It pretty much is. This one skill. So, when I played this game for the first time, it was we were on the struggle bus. It was nothing struggle city the whole fucking time. And by the whole fucking time I mean up until I got that skill where you get health back on an execution or whatever this game calls it. That one thing completely changes everything. Because now I'm getting health back when I attack enemies and shit. Like,
awesome.
Yeah. Alright, so let's go back in time again and continue. But yeah.
So is this linear? Like, do you have to go back in time and progress the story, or is it two different stories taking place?
I don't think you have to come here. I think this place is 100% optional, but I just always do it. At least I'm pretty sure it is. Like there's some stuff you get in here, like the axe and the fire thing that, like, you know, I can't imagine playing through the game without. Because there are some enemies that need it. Well, sorry. I can't imagine playing through the game in a normal way without it. You know, I guess if you're just going to play through and skip everything, that's a different story. But, yeah, as far as I know, all this shit's optional.
I mean, if you could go back in time, why can't you just go back in time and kill the fucking general as a baby?
Well, he doesn't have sense of general, so that's why.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
You need to go online. Call the general, maybe you could have saved some time. Bitch.
Go to the general and save some time.
Come on, Jamal. Okay, alright, whatever. You can just stand there.
Do you have an axe on your arm? What is that?
I do. It is, so this is my thing with the prosthetic tools in this game. And why I think as a mechanic it was it's cool, but
you're using the katana 99% of the time.
Totally, bro. That's it. That's all you fucking do, bro. Like that. And why I don't want to say it's a failure of a mechanic, but to be spicy, I would say it is.
Okay.
Because it is a key. Most of the time it is like a key to a puzzle. Like, I forgot what, I think it was like a zero punctuation video I was watching where he was talking about like how older adventure games kind of usually did a better job with puzzle design. Well, some of them were like crazy, like random, nonsensical, like, oh, you need a broom. Why do you need a broom? Well, because you can link it to the ladder and then climb the broom. Like that's stupid. Okay. No, but like the puzzles that required you to like think about the environment and stuff, like apparently there's some like Monkey Island puzzle or some shit like that, where in order to win the race, you gotta win some race, and essentially like there are things in the background that are kind of telling you how you could kind of cheese them.
Right.
If you're paying attention. So you see like the wind is blowing, so, and you know, you have an item or some shit like that that you can use to essentially like blow fire into someone's face or some shit like that. Yeah, calm down, damn it! This is annoying.
Oh, man.
Oh, finally, shit. So it's stuff like that as opposed to just like, you know, every puzzle is just a key that just isn't in the shape of a key. So those guys with the shields there, the key to those guys is just the axe.
The axe.
You can't fight them. They pretty much are like, I don't want to say invincible, but they are insanely obnoxious and outrageously annoying to fight unless you have the axe. If you have the axe, you hit the button, you win. That's it.
Okay.
And that's pretty much any time where you really have to use the prosthetic tool. It's just for that. Otherwise, everything you do with the prosthetic tool, like, oh, hey, it makes some things easier. For most of the time, there are a handful of occasions where it does make things easier. It's just a different way to get to your goal of winning, which is cool. But for it to be such a core component of the game, I feel like they needed to integrate it better.
Yeah. Like, you could have used it for not puzzle pieces.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, there are a couple of times where you can use it and it'll make some fights easier, but once again, it always boils down to, like, some kind of gimmick, as opposed to, like, a fluid piece of the core combat. Because pretty much every single time I've seen somebody use it and go like, oh yeah, man, it's great for this. It's like, well, just, instead of it being cool, now it's cheesy. Like, I don't know if that's like me just not, me being like really fucking picky or like just
from what I've been watching, because I watched you play it twice, and then I watched a bunch of speedrunning playthroughs. It's like nobody ever uses the tool.
Yeah, and like that, like there's a, like for example, there would be times where people like fight a boss and all they do is just spam the firecrackers, which stuns the boss over and over and over again.
Right.
Which is like, that's just not fun. That's not fun. Like, I want to engage with the boss in a cool way, and while technically using the prosthetic tool does make the boss easier, right? Because you're stun locking the boss, and that's cool, I guess, if you didn't want to play the game.
Right.
But, you know, like, I actually want to play the game. Like, that was one thing, for the sheer amount of faults, or quite the amount of faults that game Thymesia had. One thing I gave it kudos for, or I'll give it kudos for, is for actually, like, integrating, because it has something similar to it with this, like, claw that you use. And the way that game uses it, essentially, you're using the claw all the time alongside your regular weapon.
Right.
And so you're always using your kit, which is kind of what I like the most. I'm not a fan of, you know, given the circumstances,
items.
Yeah, like just get, like, if you have your kit, but the only time you use it is for some gimmicky BS that is not a part of the core gameplay loop.
Right.
Then, you know, I'm not a fan of it. That's why I like when I do my build videos, and I always love when people go like, oh, couldn't you do this thing? And like in the videos, it's like, bro, I don't want to fucking like, is it really fun to for me it is not fun that before every boss fight I have to go and have a feast. Like, oh hey, I'm about to go do this boss, all right, let me fucking like eat a crab, let me cast a spell, let me cast this buff, let me summon this dude, let me do all this shit, all right, let me stab myself in the stomach real quick, let me which is an actual thing, just so I'm ready to fight the boss. Like, I find that whole ritual is shit. And by the way, that's just so, that's for 45 seconds or a minute and a half of buffs. Afterwards, you're useless. Like, that's cool. Like, that stuff helps. I get it. People use it. But to me, that kind of playing the game that way is just so unfun when it's like, bro, I just want to go in there and fucking fight shit. I don't want to have to, every time I'm gonna, right before I have to do something, or right before I'm gonna go do something, I need a fucking like a pre-game ritual in order for me to go in there. Because you know what happens half the time? My experience of playing a shit ton of Elden Ring co-op online with randos is that you see people just buff up like crazy, walk into the boss fog, and get smacked upside the head. And it's like, okay, well, that did you good. Like, that's...
All right. Devil's advocate. Devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Said Witcher is the best game of all time.
One of the, not the
one of the best games of all time.
Yeah.
what if not do you do in Witcher to prepare for a big ass boss fight?
You do it all the time in The Witcher.
Yes.
It's not just big ass boss fights. It's a part of the core gameplay loop. I did a build specifically in The Witcher for poisons and potions and bombs, which means that I am resource managing all that kind of stuff. But that game was built around that shit.
Okay.
Like that, you are engaging with that all the time. Not only that, that game makes it effortless, fucking effortless to do. In The Witcher 2, it was cumbersome as fuck. The Witcher 1, I don't like that game.
Witcher 1 was real bad. I played through that. That was not a...
Yeah.
Yeah. I made the mistake of playing through it after Witcher 2, and I was like, this is not the same game.
So with The Witcher, Witcher 3 in particular, you get all the potions, you craft them, you make them. Whenever you want to refill, all you need to do is have alcohol with you. Every single time you meditate and go for a refill, it uses up whatever alcohol you have, so like liquor or whatever it may be.
Right.
And getting that stuff is incredibly easy. It's pretty much like out of sight, out of mind. It just does it. It just does it. So that's already that's already a thing. Also in The Witcher, when it comes to using the potions, maybe I use specific ones for boss fights. Though in that game, boss fights are so rare and not hard that it doesn't really matter. But at almost all times throughout the game, I'm already running on potions. It's a part of the core gameplay loop. I'm always engaging with this. In Dark Souls or Elden Ring or whatever, you only see people will roid up for a boss fight. So you're not, so that's why for me, this is the part where I always say for me, I get people really like to optimize shit sometimes, but if there's something I'm a big fan of is sometimes you don't need this shit. You don't need it. You don't need, like, sometimes all you have to do is just learn how to play the game and you'll be fucking fine, more fine than having to roid up before every single fight. Because
So the reason why I'm just bringing up two of these things, because has to do with D&D, right? Or tabletop RPGs.
Yeah.
From this is what I'm thinking about right now. I'm going to be running a campaign with custom rules that is heavily. There's going to be a lot of prep. Oh Jesus Christ! There's going to be a lot of prep time options, right?
Yeah, but that's going to be the point. Like I already know because we spoke about it greatly. Like, sorry.
Yeah. So it's just I'm trying to find out that is this shit just the Elden Ring thing that you're referring to, or
no? Because it's going to be a part of the core gameplay loop. Like that's the part. It's an integral part of the game. Now, to Elden Ring and Dark Souls and those games benefit, and they make it so that those things are just there to help you. You don't need them to beat the game. That's the point. I get it. Oh my Christ. I get it. But it's just when I see those things there, I see tools like that as a resource to help you when all hope is lost. Like, oh, okay. Like that's what I see those as, but you will see so many people go like, "Oh, well, you need to have this, you need to have this." Like, what the fuck is the point of me having? Why would I consider a core part of the build to have like an item that is annoying to get because you have to do an NPC quest line in order to get it? Just using an example.
It's like okay, I understand that.
And I'm only going to use it 1% of the time.
Yeah,
like that's.
It's like making a jar build where like you have a limited number of resources in the whole game, and you're trying to make the whole game about it.
Now, if I will say
not usable.
To go against that, the jars specifically, if you're making a jar build, and I don't know, the good ones you can only make like a finite amount of them.
Yeah,
and
so that's the problem, right?
Yeah, so that's pointless. But like, if you're trying to go through the game and do a jar build, then the whole point of the build is consumables and fucking with jars, which means you are doing that all the time, which gives it there's a purpose. I just don't find it. I find it absolutely useless for me personally. If I'm going to base a build around something I do 1% of the time, like in the Paladin build, I said like, oh, I use Golden Vow pretty much before boss fights, but I could do that guaranteed without a doubt before every single boss fight. There are no ifs or like, oh, do I have enough resources to cast this thing? Never a problem. I will always be able to do it. However, if you're relying on consumables, you're going to run out, and then you have to go and, once again, if you're at the point where you need consumables to get shit done, you might die so much that you run out of them. and then you have to go farming for consumables. You got to farm fucking Eldens for consumables or souls or whatever game it may be.
Right.
That's not fun, man. That shit is not fun. To me, it's not fun.
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I agree with you.
Like that's and I get sometimes, you know, people want to like hyper optimize the fuck out of builds and stuff. Understandable. That shit ain't fun.
Yeah, hyper optimization. You're just gonna talk to dude. Oh, he's gonna help you. Yeah, hyper optimization is weird thing to get into, especially with YouTube people, because it's like, then I don't know. I know Elden Ring fairly well, right? I know Elden Ring fairly well, and it's like,
fuck.
You see people play it only the way that's popular, and it's not. They're not building. No, that guy's getting fucked up. They're not building it themselves and not really understanding the whole gameplay loop type thing.
Yeah,
and when they invade you and it's PvP, you're like, all right, you saw this on the video. I know what you're about. I can dodge you. You're done with, son.
there is that too. It's like often you'll see like people will go like, oh, you know, you have like a million things, like, right, like a million, you know, buffs going up, and that's to make up for the fact that you haven't learned the fight. Like,
yeah,
like, so, but if you stood there and learned the fight, and it's a cool way to play. It's okay way to play. It's okay way to play. I don't like.
No, do it.
Do you? It's just, you know, once again,
especially in a single player game. Right?
Yeah, do you? It's just that once again, when you're like asking, like, oh, why don't you do this thing, which, you know, is like a frequent.
Yeah,
thing
like,
for
you
me.
should do what I do because what I do.
When you
great.
get that, then it's like, listen, man, I'm not trying to profess that I'm like fucking amazing at this, but like, you know. And I know it enough that I'm like, I don't need it. Like, I'll be fine.
Oh man, I play. Well, everybody. I play Destiny. And just the amount of dickheads. when you look at a post online,
that game, that's stupid.
You can look up posts. Make sure you have this weapon when you go into this nightfall.
That is
stupid. Make sure you have this weapon. Make sure you have Gallo Horde for the raid. Like, all right, fuck,
bro. You literally just have to shoot your gun and you win. Like, it's not. It's not. That game is, at least for me, for as much I played. Yo, that game, the beginning and the end is like, can you shoot shit and not die in the process? Great, you fucking did it. You learned how to play the game. But even the gatekeeping to like who you can play with. Stupid.
If you don't have a certain item, like, bro, you can take if you have a stack team of like 4 or 5 going into a raid, you can take a new person on. It's all right. Like, you're gonna take a little bit longer, but like, don't be an asshole.
That's wow. That's wow. Like, I know we talked about before on 3 HP games, but like, it's like people want you to have, when it comes to forming groups like that and those kinds of games, when you're just trying to get into a group, people want you to have like a fucking PhD, master's degree, whatever it may be, and whatever, like, raid or dungeon or some shit like this. Like, bro, like, get over yourself, man. It's just a fucking, like, we're just running this thing, and if, like, you can have all the items, but if you don't, like, nothing is better than somebody that just knows it, that just knows how to do it. That, okay, maybe my build isn't hyper optimal, but I know what the fuck I'm doing, so, like, we're gonna win.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, wow. I would spend like 30 minutes trying to get into a fucking Mythic Plus group, and it'd be like, okay, I'm running this dungeon, and let's say if the recommended gear score for this dungeon is going to be 235, my dude was like at 264, which, when you think of like the soft cap, or the cap was pretty much like 290 or 280, something like that. Okay. I was halfway between the dungeon and the cap. My shit was, aka, I was way fucking high. Like, my you know, where my gear or whatever it may be was way over leveled for that dungeon. And still, it's like you don't get in for groups. It is so, it's so fucking it makes playing, it just makes the experience worse for everybody.
The level breakdown for like Destiny, I think 35 below the cap, you do no damage. Everything's immune, right?
Okay.
But even that, like 20 is difficult, but it's not crazy. So if it's 1300 raid and you're doing 1280, you're good. You're good to go. Especially if you know it, or if you don't know, you should be fine.
I mean, what if you're... Don't the raids have like a basic level that you have to be in order to get in?
Yes, that's true.
So if you hit that level, doesn't that mean you're good enough to get in?
Well, theoretically, yeah.
Okay. But people don't do that. Damage. But people don't.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about the people that are looking for randoms online.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like people, like they'll see that people hit that criteria, but then they won't.
Yeah,
that's
weird.
That's fun. It's everywhere, man. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Like when I play Final Fantasy a lot, it was nowhere near as bad as that or WoW, but it's still.
Well, Final Fantasy is it's nice.
Yeah, like people are a bit more chill. People are more chill over there. They're still, don't get it twisted for a moment. There's still some like
elitists.
Yeah, well, not only that, but it's the kind of like toxicity that are like in you know, like the stereotypical high school girl movie where everyone has their cliques, but they don't talk shit to each other's faces, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to WoW, where they'll just like call you the fucking N-word or something in the middle of a dungeon. like you know, WoW, they're a lot more forthcoming with their hate.
Yeah, I used to play WoW. Damn, 2010, 2000 something.
Yeah,
and it wasn't like that. But I saw it recently. I think I was watching you or Dwight play, and just the open world text was
that was
insane.
Yeah, that was our friend Dwight. That was for context. He I forgot what it was, but essentially he's playing in a war mode. He had war mode on or whatever, so that's like PvP, always on PvP. And so somebody was doing some, I forgot that they essentially like there's a achievement or something like that to I forgot what it was. Ah, jump. Okay. There's an achievement to like you kill a certain amount of people of the opposing faction. And then after that happens, essentially you turn bad or some shit, and then you wind up having to kill X amount of people of your faction. So if you're like Alliance, then you kill like X amount of Horde people, like 15 Horde people in a row without dying, and then afterwards you can kill that. Like it'll give you a thing where you then kill like 5 or 10 of Alliance, your own faction, and that's the achievement. So you have to kill a lot of people in a row without dying. Our friend killed that guy. And you just see in the chat instantly N-word. It's like, that's just a thing that like you can do in here? Like, oh, I thought we were past that, but okay.
Yeah. Nope. I mean, there's they can definitely do something. It's called a fucking filter, bro. All right?
Yeah, no, but sure like in WoW, yeah, when I played Heroes of the Storm, and it's funny because these are Blizzard games. When I play fucking Heroes of the Storm, bro, yo, Heroes of the Storm. Wow, this bitch got washed.
Yeah, I remember. Do you fight her again?
No.
In a harder mode?
No.
Because I remember watching you a long time ago.
That was on the Resurrection mod.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's funny saying this because they're both Blizzard games. But when I played Heroes of the Storm for a bit, like a couple of years ago, like 2-3 years ago, and they have like a new players chat, and you know, I was a new player, so I was in that chat, and I was playing it, and yo, the shit I cannot say, I literally cannot say the exact things they were saying. But I will just say that it had a lot to do with actual. Sorry, it rhymes with pectual papalt. Like that's.
Oh my God.
And And I'm there like, yo, this chat is fucking wild. What is this? And I'm telling my friend, because he played Heroes of the Storm, same friend too. Heroes of the Storm a lot. Go, bro, have you seen this fucking new player chat? He's like, no, because he's been playing this since like it came out, so that's only gone. Bro, they're just talking about like all sorts of wild shit in here. And this is like the pits of the internet. It feels like, listen, I'm gonna say sometimes 4chan can be really funny, but like, this is like all the bad parts. And I know 4chan is all bad, but I mean like this is like the bad shit. Parts. Yeah. Yeah, so just as a random aside, this cutscene, so this is essentially like what happened in the past, which I think puts your guy in the spot that he was currently in at the beginning of the game, where he was just like out cold in that ravine or whatever it may be.
Right. He
goes in the past to save the boy because the estate's under attack.
Okay.
You find the old lady is being a real bitch. You stop her, you're like, yo, freeze, Krusty. And you kick her ass, but then you get stabbed, which knocks you out. The boy is like, gives you his blood so you'll live again because the boy has that power.
That's
like the dragon blood.
Twice.
Yeah. Sekiro Shadows die twice.
Yeah.
So that's what happened there. You know what's crazy?
What?
Is that I was able to explain that.
Oh yeah, because they show it to you in cutscenes and dialogue. Verbal dialogue.
Always got to come back to
Yeah. You don't got to find a lore tab or watch a 30-minute YouTube video. You're good.
Yep. Like, I have not watched a single lore video about this game at all. At all. The craziest thing that happens this game lore-wise is at the end of the game. We'll talk about that when we get there. You know, this game isn't terribly long, so we'll probably get there sooner rather than later.
Right.
But even then, it's like one of the few things that's just batshit wild that you do have to read text in order for it to be explained.
Huh. Okay.
But having a couple of things like that in the game, I'm okay with. Having the whole game be like that, I'm not.
Yeah. Do it too many times and it's just whack.
Yeah.
What do they call it? You become a trope.
Yeah, something like that.
What the hell you call it? I forget. All right.
Let me see. All right, cool. So I guess that'll be it for this episode, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless you want to wait the 21 seconds we have left in the video.
Okay, guy. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.